upset, they're not stressed.
Recording in progress.
Of signing up for Everest. It's a funeral concierge rolled into a life insurance plan. They ask you a few questions, learn exactly what you want and don't want, then negotiate directly with funeral homes, so you know that your family isn't getting taken advantage of.
Thank you, Will.
No problemo.
Wherever you are.
They can't hear me.
Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope everybody had a wonderful first session. Now we're getting ready for our second session here in Canada. And so if you're here for the Canadian session, then you are in the right place. And so I want to be able to turn it over to Mr. Sheldon Grant out in Ontario. And he's going to kick off this info session, which is all about how to prepare for life's most expensive events, right? You know, especially for me as a family man, there's so many things I need to think about, as you know, preparing for my kids' college or even for retirement. And so we want to make sure, like, what are the ways in which we can better prepare for these things? So without further ado, take it away, Mr. Sheldon Grant out in Ontario, Canada.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to G21. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are all here. I'm so excited for you guys, and I'm telling you, I'm just super excited today. I remember my first G convention, and for me, I knew I wanted to know how to control my finance. You know, I have an engineering background, a military background, but I was always in debt. I graduated school with a big student loan. I mean, I just knew that I needed to learn. And I remember the first time I was in your shoes and I came to an event like this. It was in person, so it's a little bit different. My first time was in person, but I was so blown away by the information. And not only was I blown away by information, I actually implemented the information that I learned. And let me tell you, it changed my life forever. Pretty much most of what I wanted 15 years ago when I saw this for the first time, I accomplished. Now I've actually had to develop some new goals, some new dreams, and now I'm on my way to that. So I'm totally excited for you guys. You know, you took some time out of your day. Some of you may have taken some time off work to come and see this. I know you just wrap up the Truth About Wealth webinar just a few minutes ago on how to control your finances. And let me tell you, there are three types of people in the world today. They are the people that make things happen. They're the people that watch things happen. I tell you, I got three folks that are making things happen. They're making things happen for themselves first, for their family, for their community, and for the country. They've in Western Canada. He's been in the financial industry now for 6 years, helping families. Folashade, she's been in the business for 11 years. And my good friend Sajata, she's been in the business now for 13 years. So we're not just some overnight hurry come up, you know, these are folks that knows exactly what they're doing. They've been helping families all over. And Mark is going to tackle a topic that everyone is concerned about right now, which is how to get out of debt. And right after that, Paula Shadi is going to come in and she's going to talk about college planning. I wish somebody spoke to my parents about college planning, then I wouldn't have to graduate with this big student loan. And then Sujata De Sosa is going to take it over with retirement planning, how to properly retire comfortably and remain comfortably retired. So without further delay, I'm so pumped right now. Mark, I hope you're ready. I know you were born ready. So take it over, my friend, with debt management.
All right. Hey, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Sheldon, for such a wonderful introduction. My name is Mark, again, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And honestly, you know what, guys? This topic I'm going to talk to you guys is actually something that's very important to me. And one of the reasons that's why I actually joined the campaign back in 2015. I was a nurse by profession. And prior to this campaign, I work in a job and pretty much make good income, I should say. However, one thing I realized after joining the campaign, it's not about how much money that you make that counts. It's actually about how much money that you actually keep. And I know some of you probably can relate with me as well. For some reason, when I started working, money becomes so slippery. By the time I receive my paycheck, it just fly away and it goes towards my different types of bills. So that's why I'm gonna talk to you guys about something like this. How many of you guys look like this? Once you get your paycheck, nothing is left, right? And after that, to tell you the truth, at the age of 27 years old, I do carry tons of debt, probably about over 60,000 of debts. That's 4 credit cards, one line of credit. And to tell you the truth, life isn't really funny that time. There's even a point of time that I wake up in the middle of the night just to think about what I'm gonna do with my debts. Maybe I should run away, go back home to Philippines, or maybe file for a bankruptcy. But that's one that was actually the point of my life where I really take the shot and really seek out for help and sit down with a licensed professional, with a financial professional. And one thing I realized is being a nurse in the medical field, we do have different types of checkup. We do have medical checkup, physical checkup, blood work checkup, but we just had never done financial checkup. I realized that it is such a very important part of our life as well, is to have at least our annual financial checkup. And they went through about my finances. And one thing I realized and we found out that most of my money that is actually going towards the thing that not necessarily needed. And I can give you some examples. I do party being a young guy every weekend, eat outside with my friends, drink outside with my friends. And I just realized those are wasting money. Imagine, in a week, I spent $200, $300, and in a month, how much money I'm wasting. What the financial professional told me that I'm spending about over $1,000 on those kind of things. That's why it is very important. That's why one thing I like about when I joined the business, when I read this book called Saving Your Future, in this part, as you can see here in Canada, 31% of Canadians don't make enough money to cover their monthly expenses. And more than half say they are within $200 away from not being able to pay their bills sometimes. I just realized that it doesn't just only happen to me, but actually happen to a lot of people. That's why give me more reason that, we have more reasons to really go out in the field and to really help families and share the knowledge that we know. And one thing that I really like about this part of the book as well is, they show me how to build my financial house properly. How I started was, honestly, I was building my financial house upside down. And as you can see here, I'm not gonna go through with every single one of them, but I want to focus on the debt management because I know a lot of us, we would like to pay up our debts. And honestly, as you can see here, it's second to the most important part on building your financial house. And it's even said here, you should reduce your liability and get out of debt as soon as you can. And as I said, a lot of people start thinking probably today, and they want to pay off their debt, but they're wondering, like, how could I pay if I don't have any money left after the end of the month, right? And I do know how you feel because that's exactly how I feel like. So that's why I'm gonna go on through this part right here because you know that you can actually increase your cash flow in two things. It's either you get other source of income or having multiple sources of income, or maybe you can actually cut down your expenses and you can increase your cash flow too. That's something that a lot of people doesn't know. That's why I'm gonna go on here and to tell you honestly, there's still many of them, but I'm just gonna show you the things that I really did apply for myself personally. So what I did is, it's funny, you know, I did eliminate my cable because I just realized you still have two jobs. And, at the end of the day, after work, I got home and so tired, watch movie. But I just realized after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it became the other way around. It is the cable now that's watching me while I'm sleeping. And I just realized, what's the point of keeping that? I'm paying you $55 and I think it doesn't really make sense. So I did cancel that one and I was able to save $55. And, cancel or reduce your extras on cell phones, data features. I check out with my cell phone providers. One thing that I noticed that my data plan, I'm only using half of that. And by doing that, so most of the people today, let's face the reality, most of the people works at home, you use your Wi-Fi. So what's the point of having so much data in your plan? So what I did, I just reduced it. I didn't totally cancel it, but I was able to save about $30. And next to it is, if you own a cell phone, why keep your own landline? It's funny. When I came here in Canada, I thought that was mandatory because I never had landline back home in the Philippines anyway. So, it just comes with a package from your provider. And I just thought about everybody today have their own cell phone. So what's the point of keeping your old landline and you can actually have your own phone, right? So I did cancel that one as well. And I was able to save $40. And consider larger deductible on auto, RV, homeowners, and collision insurances. You know what, guys? What I did to myself, especially if you're a safe driver, anyways, you can actually increase your deductible on your auto and collision. This is actually what I did to myself, and I was able to save 25%. I mean, $25 because by doing that, so you can actually decrease your premium on your monthly payment and bring your own lunch and avoid eating outside if necessary. I had just mentioned from the beginning, I love eating outside with my friends. I didn't actually take it out 100%. What I did is I just listened. And if I do ever go out for lunch, what I do is I always choose the happy hours, because that's saving money too. And another thing here too, cancel gym membership. It's funny, like, isn't it true today as well that most of the gym today are actually closed right now? And why don't you find alternative ways to exercise? You can see today, I'm standing here, I'm kind of burning a little bit of calories. That's still part of, becoming more healthy. And sometimes in my office, I do run and it's beautiful outside today too. So why don't run, walk, find a ways how you can still be healthy without spending so much. So I was able to save $30 from doing that. And lastly, here my part is cut down on shopping clothes because me and my wife we just realized that in Canada and for Canadians, we don't have what we call the Boxing Day, and we always want to go for shopping. We didn't realize that we're buying things that not necessarily needed to, right? And after a couple of months, you still see it hanging in your closet that you don't really use with the tag, right? So all in all, here as you can see, I was able to save $300 now, more money in my bank account. That's something that I'm so proud of. And what you can do now, because for sure, a lot of people, you guys still have more things that you would like to probably that you can save. But let me tell you this $300 can make a difference. What I do with this one is this strategy, what we call the debt roll up or the snowball method, which is a systematic approach, which is actually a little bit different because how we do this is we identify the lowest balance and we attack the smallest debt. Because a lot of people actually they attack the highest debt first before the smallest, right? And also you have to identify which one give you the highest interest because at the end of the day, it doesn't create more money, it give you more debts, right? So we have to kill that one first. And these are some examples. This is just for illustration purposes only, by the way, guys. And as you can see here in this illustration, let's say, for example, I do have extra $100, right? And isn't it true that most of the people do have $100 extra? They pay minimum, but they spread the $100 to each every single debt, right? And so what I want you to do here is that $100, you attack first the smallest debt, but the rest you keep paying them minimum. All right. So let's say, for example, the Home Depot right here. So if you do have a balance, if you do have a balance of 150, and you do have a minimum payment of $10, and you do have extra $100, you add it up on top of that while everything's remaining minimum. All right. So now instead of you paying $10 minimum, adding $100, now you're paying $110 in a month. And do you know that if you do have a balance of $150 in a month and few days, you will be able to pay it. And by the time you pay it, I would say, and I would recommend to you guys, call your bank and ask them to freeze your credit card. Why freeze? Because if you see that you don't have any balance, it became one part of the temptation and we want to use it again, right? So, and also one part of that, why do you don't want to cancel your credit card is because it can affect your credit score. So that's why freezing them is the most safest part. And at the end of the day, you only need one credit card anyways, right? To still keep building a credit score. So now another thing here. So what we're gonna do now, you do have free up $110. So now you used to pay $25 minimum on your ESO. So now you add $110. Now instead of you paying $25, now you can pay $135. And if you do have a balance of $525, do you know that in 5 months and few days, you can also pay it off? And same application, you have to call the bank and ask them to freeze your credit card, all right? And same thing apply if you do have free of $135, instead of you paying $25 minimum on your Sears, now you add $105, now you're paying $160 monthly. And do you know that in 9 months and so you can pay off as well your Sears with $700. So same thing apply. That roll up rules is actually once you free up something here, you climb up to the next smallest debt, going to the highest one. All right. So as you can see here, take a look at this, guys. I want you to pay attention. Your minimum payment before on your mortgage is only $1,000, but by having extra $100, do you know that you actually double your monthly payment towards your mortgage? But this is actually the amazing part of this, guys. If you only pay 100 minimum on everything without $100 extra, you will pay everything for 29 years. But by having extra $100, you can pay it in half of the years. Imagine this, 12.3 years, and you will be debt free, right? And that's only $100 that we're talking about here, guys. What if you do have extra $200 or $300 on your checking account, right? So what that could be. But let me tell you this. I know that there's a lot of people today that probably they have uncontrollable debt. We do have companies that we work with as well that probably can help you. And I'm proud to say that after until today that my wife and I, we just paid up all our credit cards, no more line of credits. That's something I'm very proud of about what this campaign did to us. But most importantly, it doesn't just only happen to us though. 4 days ago, I just received a call from my client that he also paid up four of his credit cards in his car loan. Isn't that amazing, guys? right? That's why it keeps me awake every single day and motivate me to work and go out there because I know that there's a lot of people out there that we can help by providing the knowledge that we know. So now, that being said, guys, so that's pretty much about my part. But now let's talk about, after you pay off your debts, let's talk about now saving, especially college planning for your kids. I do have a daughter too. So without further ado, I just want to pass it on to my colleague here, Pula Shade. Take it over. Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Thank you so much, Mark. That was so awesome. That was powerful. I'm just so happy, listening to you, how you were able to cut down